We like to call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
So let's do a bucket list.
Paranormal bucket list. I like to do paranormal bucket lists that aren't necessarily ghost related. I don't know why. We talked about Bigfoot. We talked about Loch Ness. One of the places on my paranormal bucket list is Rachael, Nevada, which is outside of Area 51. It was kind of all the rage when they were going to go storm Area 51 and find those aliens, right?
Right, I remember that.
You know, it's on a stretch of highway that they call the extraterrestrial highway, and that's because of all of the sightings that people see, either coming from Area 51 or just around the area in general. You know, people suspect that it's alien activity or new government technology that's not being divulged to the public. In the town of Rachael, there's a little place called the Little Ailey Inn.
I like that.
And I would love to stay there. There's
cute.
also a restaurant and a store there. But it's one of those places that I just want to check off. I want to go down there. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's not a whole lot else to do. But I'm just kind of drawn to that area. You can actually drive up. It's not too far out of Rachael. You can drive up to one of the perimeter fences of Area 51. But if you start, if you start getting too close, then Jeeps and guys with guns start
They'll
coming.
come ask
Yeah.
what you're doing here.
Yeah, and there's literally a fence with a sign that says, you go beyond this mark, you're gonna get shot, basically.
So as you're describing it, I kind of feel like I've been somewhere close, if not somewhere near Ely, Nevada. Back highway to Las Vegas.
Heading down, yeah. So Rachel's further south than where Ely's at, but I believe those highways
Because I can
connect.
remember the extraterrestrial highway being on
There you go. You probably drove right through it. It's hard to miss. There's 51 people and one building.
Right? I
wait.
think I stopped in that gas station and needed like a Tylenol or something, and they really didn't have anything in the store but some candy.
Don't deflate my hopes and dreams.
It was wonderful.
Thanks. I'm going to go and I'm going to get some candy, okay?
Just go
That
get
is
some
my
candy.
paranormal bucket list. I'm going to go to Rachael, Nevada, and I'm going to buy candy at a gas station.
Bring your own aspirin.
You'll be satisfied. But
I'm gonna
yes,
bring my own-
your own aspirin.
I'm going to bring my own headache medicine.
And
All right. And then
plan on going somewhere else.
Then I'm going to go to a fence that I can't go past or I'm going to get shot.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fabulous weekend.
Sign me up, baby.
That is a fabulous bucket list.
Okay, let me rattle around in the junk drawer here and see what we've got. All right. How about some common ghost sounds? Okay, common ghost sounds. So number 1 is moving objects, which, like the sound of moving furniture that can be heard from different rooms or upstairs or downstairs. And this is one that when people call us for residentials, we get this a lot. We heard something move in the other room.
And there's no one else in the house.
Right, and we couldn't figure out why. I'm going to guess that these are not in any particular order, because number 2 is footsteps, and I think that as people call us, footsteps is probably something I hear every single time someone calls us, is footsteps. This could be crackling floorboards or various types of footsteps from different parts of the house. Sometimes they're running, sometimes they're stomping, sometimes they're walking. Usually they'll say down a hallway or upstairs. And it's like they're coming towards you. Moaning. A signature ghost sound. Just kind of your quintessential moaning. Like they're stuck in an infinite loop of pain.
Have to.
To me that almost seems... I mean, there's people listening that are like, no, seriously, I have a ghost and it moaned. But that's just kind of like your stereotypical sound.
Right.
And I'm not laughing at it. Just
put the white sheet on and off you go. Ooh.
Yeah, chains rattling.
Yeah.
I think is on here actually. Number 7.
Rattling chains.
We will get there. Moaning and chains. I think ghosts can actually moan. I have heard some moans. a time or two, and I've had people say that they've heard some cries. Whether it's a baby crying, a woman crying, it's usually children or women that they hear crying. I haven't really heard of or remember anyone saying that they've heard men crying. And that's
Maybe they just sounded like women.
could be.
Probably.
Nice deep voice there, Doc.
If I was dead, I would cry like a woman.
Tapping. Tapping on walls, on doors, happens all the time.
Yeah, it's a really common one.
Very common one, and when we go on a ghost investigation, we will usually ask for ghosts to tap, to try to get some evidence, try to get some recording. So this is, I usually don't say, hey, will you cry for us? It's usually, will you tap for us? Because it's something that's very easily done. And if you get tapping in threes, that can be concerning. So hopefully if you hear tapping, it's 1 or 2 or 4.
Right.
Don't stop at 3.
No threes.
Tap, tap, tap. Give me one more, please. Whispering. And I think this is also very common in what we deal with personally. I have heard audible whispers myself, and it's kind of cool because usually when I remember the last time, or one of the last times, I was actually with one of our investigators, Mike, down in the basement of a home. There was me and him and the homeowner, and I think the homeowner's teenage son. It was this female, if I remember, and I don't remember if we knew what she said or we just heard like a word or two. But you can hear us in the recording saying, Did you hear that? And I think everybody down there heard it.
And because of whispering, that's one of the things that we're in an investigation that we ask people not to do, is whisper, so that we don't get the EVPs and possible phenomena mixed up with a live person at the event. And it is so common for people in the dark, and they want to talk to their spouse or their friend, and hey, did you say that?
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're with us investigating and we say whispering to the recording, we're not trying to call you out per se or make you feel bad, but as we're listening to our evidence later, we just are trying to document that that was a real person whispering and not a ghost. So number 7, here we go, rattling chains. And it says that this sound usually is associated in places with a dark history of torment and abuse. And I don't know if it's because chains were actually there or if just the energy is a chainy sound.
Right. Like, if you're at the Tower of London, sure, I'll go with chains. I don't know. I don't really use chains that much anymore.
Yeah, I don't think Grandma's
And not
gonna...
for a long time.
I always joke, and when I'm describing ghosts, I say, a type 1 is, Grandma passes and she hangs out in the kitchen rattling chains. I don't think that would actually happen.
Yeah.
So you said type 1. Tell me other types, because I don't know that everybody knows our types.
Yeah, if you're a first-time listener or aren't aware of our types, here we go. Type 1 is your typical ghost. Grandma dies, hangs out in the kitchen, moans and rattles chains, right?
Maybe it was a
spoons.
whisk or a spoon. Yeah, it wasn't chains. It was just like a metal bowl and the whisk.
She's at work. She's making bread.
She is working.
She's a work ghost.
She's
No.
working.
We're gonna skip type 2. We'll come back to it. A type 3 is a spirit that has never had a body. They're demonic. A lot of Christian religions will describe them as a fallen angel, never had a body, hate humans. A type 2, there's 2 of them. There's a type 2A, you're a jerk when you're alive, you're going to still be a jerk when you die. And a type 2B is a type 1 that a type 3 has coerced and bullied into helping it cause havoc.
And we run into that.
We run into that a lot. Type 3s like to be the puppet masters. They don't like to do their own dirty work. They like to recruit. Type 1s.
Not my grandma.
Little minions.
Mm-mm.
And this is a classification system that we came up with because
Do you have to bring that up?
it is such a great story.
So I can be kind of blunt. And we went to this cute little grandma's house. Just adorable. Very Catholic. When I say very Catholic, when we walked into her house, she had the prayer of St. Michael on every door and crosses everywhere because she was afraid. She was afraid of what's going on in her home. And according to her religion, that kept her safe and gave her
Peace of mind.
And it gave her
Michael's
some
the
comfort.
protector.
Very active in her Catholic religion. She asked me what was going on there, and I said, "You have a demon." And that was really, 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 really awesome. And so when we left there, we said we should probably come up with a classification so that Raven doesn't creep everybody out, and we no longer have our hobby. So we came up. So this is our own personal classification system. Other teams might have different classifications.
Yeah, this is the classification that WISPs and Advanced Paranormal uses.
Yeah.
So this was an effort to not tell little Catholic ladies they have demons in their home.
Yes.
Without preparing them the right way.
Perfect.
Yeah, I just blurted it out. You got the demons. Yeah, if you want to know the truth, just ask me. I'll tell you. I won't sugarcoat it or anything. Okay, so 2 more. Screaming. This one says generally uncommon. It's a kind of a way for a tortured ghost to express grief, right? Maybe you were tortured and you're just hearing remnants of that. Maybe they're just frustrated as heck and they're screaming. This one says generally uncommon, but I have run into it personally on investigations and public investigations and residential, probably a little more often than, say, moaning or moving objects. We actually get a lot of EVPs of some screams. And then the last one is foreign dialogue. So, ghosts don't necessarily just hang out where they die. They can wander. There's portals. We've run into a lot of ghosts that are like, yeah, we don't know why we're here. We were there and now we're here.
Because they didn't want to stay at work.
Exactly.
They're going on vacation.
They are. Getting around.
We're from Germany and now we're here speaking German. So we have actually run into a German-speaking ghost at Fort Douglas, which Lurch was able to talk to a little bit because he speaks German. Trying to think of what other languages we've run into. We get Latin, but that's usually from the Type 3s. If we start having Latin talk to us, that's creepy. We don't like it. I'm drawing a blank. I know we've
It's going to have to be some Spanish, and I know that we had the Dutch.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We did have a Dutch spirit. Anyway, I know I'm forgetting a language or two. We've run into a couple. Anyway, those are some popular ghost hunts.
Thank you.
In the paranormal junk drawer, I found a couple of more items. Our Supernatural Insider patrons, the Fosters, sent us a fun audio clip from an investigation at the family tree where they were in the basement with Lucy. I have trimmed it down and condensed the clip. There's a faint growl just before a loud scream. The clip is about 75 seconds long, and the growl and the scream are at about 30 seconds in. Enjoy this clip.
You don't say something, I'm going to turn it off. Car's outside. What's really nice about using this in the basement is you're not going to get a whole lot of radio noise.
Good sound thing too.
Yeah. This is true, but we got a lot of radio noise upstairs though.
Yeah, we did.
The ha-ha and I did it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Were you down here for that, Tim?
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming it was Lucy. She blew in my ear. And she went... Wow.
I just scared myself for no
You
scariest thing I've
fucking
ever
jump
seen.
chairs here?
Yes, you did. It was right there.
That was on.
Was it her face?
I was looking over here.
No, that was a face right next to her face. There were two faces right.
And one more item. We just posted a public ghost hunt on our advancedparanormal.com website. It'll be at the Union Square Mall in Draper on Saturday, April 10th from 8 p.m. to midnight. We're really looking forward to this investigation and hope that you can make it.
All right, and last, get your Supernatural Hour swag at advancedparanormal.com. I've got my mug. I keep forgetting to bring it when we actually do the podcast, but
You have to buy a secondary mug and just leave it here.
seriously, I'm just going to leave it here in the attic of despair. I love my mug, though. It's great.
We have our tapestry hanging up here.
Tapestry's up and running.
What do you drink in your mug?
Ooh, what do I drink in my mug? I had hot chocolate last time, and it was delicious.
That sounds good.
Also have some nice herbal teas that I'll brew from time to time. So
But the mug works nicely for
it,
all of them.
it's a mug.
It's
It does.
it's a mug.
It does what mugs do, and it has our logo on the front.
Love it.
I think it's a pretty cool logo. If I say so myself.
I agree.
I didn't design it myself, but it's ours. I like it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is, go to the YouTube Advanced Paranormal page. It's splashed all over it.
It is splashed all over, and soon it's going to be splashed all over a shirt that we'll be walking around with.
Patreon listeners, they get swag.
Yes, they do. They get Patreon
Or Patreon patrons.
insiders.
Yeah, depending on your level, you can get a mug or a T-shirt.
I've got both. Just saying, and they're
Hey.
great.
I don't have either.
Well,
Yet.
we need to fix you up.
Yes, because I use mugs.
I do too. I like to make the teas and hot chocolates.
And I put soup. I am infamous for soup in a mug. Help it. It's one of my favorite things.
All right. Stay spooky, my haunty friends.
Love you, Nicholas.
See you later.
Have a good night.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright 2021 by Advanced Paranormal Services.